President Council, I brought this before you today, so I thought I should make some comments. First of all, the genesis of this is from the downtown community, the merchants and the business people, as well as citizens who have, in my 17 months here, continued to plead with me to do something about this problem downtown. So that's how this started. Now, the downtown retailers and restaurants are suffering due to the continuing aggressive panhandling. And they're very worried that they're going to lose this holiday shopping and dining season if we don't take action. Consumers, especially women, are telling me that they're fearful of coming downtown because of the panhandle. My understanding is that this is the 5th discussion between the executive branch staff and city council, going back to last March. So this has been a 9-month process with, I am told, 5 discussions. So it is time for an up or down vote, I would respectfully ask. This next point to me is paramount. I am told by our police chief that most panhandlers are not homeless people. In fact, they're professionals who are using panhandling as a way to obtain tax-free money to purchase alcohol and drugs. These are professionals, not homeless people in general. So while we all support strenuously First Amendment rights, when panhandlers' actions rise to a level where they're using coercion and intimidation, and where the other person feels threatened, that's where we have to draw the line, to me. This goes beyond a simple exchange of words and could you please help me. When people feel threatened, to me, that's where we have to draw the line. Now, as Mr. Melcher said, this proposed zone is a very limited portion of downtown. Boulder on the north, Nevada on the east, Cascade on the west, and Caturas on the south. So it's a small subset of downtown where most of the merchants are located. And he also mentioned the state highways, the on-ramps and off-ramps to I-25. Well, there's several questions, obviously. First of all, why not a city-wide zone? The city attorney's office has told me that that would be overthrown in court. Then why not multiple zones? I know there are people here tonight from the west side, maybe some from Briargate and elsewhere. Why can't we have multiple zones? I'm told by the city attorney's office that that would be turned back in court. And that we have really 2 choices, because I know you've asked for choices. There are 2 choices, which are do nothing or pick an area to test a no solicitation zone. So we're left with those 2 choices. So if there are 2 choices, and one is pick an area, why downtown and why now? And it's a very tough call. You know, we talked about this a lot, that there are a lot of hard decisions to make. You've made a lot of them. And I think this is a hard decision. How do you pick one neighborhood over another? Because there are lots of areas of town that are having problems with panhandling. Well, if we can only have one zone, I do believe we should start downtown, because I'm told by the police department we have far more problems downtown than anywhere else. Not to say that we don't have problems everywhere else, because we do. But again, if we can only pick one small area to test this concept, then which is the area that you choose? And I choose downtown because I think there are far more problems downtown. Now, that also means if we solve downtown, are we pushing these panhandlers elsewhere? Which drives the next point. Why not add more police officers? Being a newspaper editorial writer, a while back, was totally opposed to any action to restrict this activity. Last Sunday, he now says the solution is to add more police officers as opposed to a change in the ordinance. Well, I asked the police chief about that, and he tells me we'd have to have at least 1, if not 2 officers at every intersection. They do that in New York City. I've been there lately. I mean, they have police officers at every intersection. So if you say we have Boulder to Caturas and Cascade to Nevada, just take home, and that's 7 intersections equivalent. So how many do we need? 7? Or do we need 2? Is that 14? But then we have to plan for more than 1 shift, and we have to plan for weekends and for vacations and sick leave. So we really need downtown, if you want to go the route of more police officers, I would say we need 20, 30 more police officers at a annual cost, including health insurance, equipment, everything else, say $100,000 per person. That now tells me we need $3 million, maybe $4 million. And that's for downtown. And then if we're going to go that direction, how about the other areas, the other neighborhoods? So maybe you double that number. You see where I'm going with this commentary, which is we would need $5, maybe $8 million more per year to be able to fund more boots on the ground. Well, I don't know where to find that, honestly. I don't know if you do. So we felt like we had no choice but to ask for this amendment to the ordinance as a way to move forward. At the same time, Colorado Springs Police Department is going to continue to ramp up its activity. It's already started. I hope you've seen some of that, particularly on the west side. And assuming you approve our budget for next year, the police department's going to add, as you know, 50 more police officers and up to 25 community service officers, which would be critical to help us to have more coverage in more neighborhoods to try to tackle this in a more aggressive way. Hopefully also now the county sheriff has more funding. As a result of the tax increase that was passed by the voters last week, the sheriff will be able to increase patrols in the unincorporated area. And I understand that the county, if it so chose, could also pass a panhandle ordinance in the unincorporated area. That's their business, but I understand that's a possibility. I would just suggest to you that we should pass this ordinance. We should monitor the results closely over the next 12 to 18 months. And we will do that, and we will report to you on a periodic basis, and you'll give us feedback as well. We need to make sure we're not impacting First Amendment rights, but also that this is having the effect intended to improve safety and the well-being of our citizens. This is a hard decision, but one we must make. And I want to let everyone know on the west side, our first town hall next year will be on the west side. We're scheduling that now for January. Because I know there are concerns on the west side, as well as other neighborhoods in Colorado Springs, and we want to hear those and do everything we can to try to help every one of our important neighborhoods. Again, I think the public needs to know that these are professionals in general, not homeless people. We should not be giving the panhandlers money or anything else. Instead, if we really care about them and want to help them, we should refer them to human service providers such as Marion House and Springs Rescue Mission. I hope the downtown partnership will develop a program providing retailers with a little piece of paper or coupon, encouraging people where to go get help. Lastly, I'll just point out, the city attorney mentioned other cities that have ordinances, and I think he mentioned Manitou Springs. I just had a meeting with Mayor Mark Snyder, and initially Manitou attempted to have a zone that was very broad, and that was challenged. And I believe now Manitou has reduced that zone to just their downtown core, and Mayor Snyder tells me that's working very well, and that has withstood the board challenge. So thank you for your consideration. I know this is a difficult decision.